was volatile, so maybe too early to take a call on anything today because of the kind of intraday volatility that we had. The market started at a new 52-week low on the Nifty and Sensex level. The Nifty starting below 7,500. During the course of the day, seeing 100-point intraday recovery and going above 7,600 and finally closing right in between there. So clearly a lot of volatility. But one thing which stands out is that the bulls are trying to defend 7,500 to 7,550, the previous low. That, I think, is really the big story of the trade today. Mid-caps underperformed, and that was interesting because all through last week, we had the mid-caps which stayed resilient to a falling market. Let's talk about the stocks then, where we saw quite a bit of pressure in today's trade. In terms of index heavyweights, ICICI Bank, it's almost a daily feature now. New 52-week low yet again for ICICI Bank. HDFC as well was one of the weaker stocks, down 1%. And Dr. Reddy is clearly reacting to that ruble drubbing that we had in the second half. Apart from that, you had Tech Mahindra, Wipro, TCS. So ahead of earnings season, IT stocks are not looking good, despite the kind of weakness that we have already seen. PSU banks in particular also were quite weak today. PNB, SBI, Bank of Baroda, all closer to 52-week lows. PNB is now down some 53% from last year's peak. So then what kept the markets in good stead? Clearly, the leadership stock now is Reliance. That stock was up 2.5%, within 1% of a new 52-week high. Tata Motors as well was up 2%, and Maruti Suzuki recovered quite a bit of lost ground. So that stock was up about 1.4%. Well, let's talk about some of the mid-caps then. On the losing side, we had MIC Electronics and Syntex. Both these stocks in the earnings season down about 14 and 7%. Dish TV as well was down about 3%. And finally, onto the gainers then. There was some gainers. Shrey Infra was up 9%. Genus Power was up 7%. And HDIL was up close to about 5%. So the bulls would believe that the market has